Ooh, that looks tasty. Folks, today the Hungry Gamer is back with another playthrough, and today we're doing a playthrough of Fighting Fantasy Adventures. And what I'll be doing is just the introductory tutorial scenario, and I will not be going through the entire thing because, well, that's spoilers. So rather, I will go through some of it, and at some point when I feel like we've gotten a good idea of what is going on, then I will stop the video there. As always, because this is a sponsored video, I will give you none of my personal thoughts on the game. You are welcome to check out my preview video, which is linked in the description if you're curious about what I think. So with that said, we're going to jump right in, and as we go through, I'll do a little bit of explaining of how the game works, but this is not a full-on how to play video either, so I won't go through all of that. Now, additionally, I've already played through this entire scenario, so I actually know what happens at each of these different places. So anytime I'm met with a choice like this, I'm just going to roll a die and do it that way. So 1, 2, and 3. All right, so I'm going to go this way towards the musty smell. And so that's telling me I need card 21. So I'll go into my dungeon cards here, and I will pull out card number 21 like so. Before I can go in there, I should have already done this, I have to set my marching order. And for me, I always like to start with the scout, and I think to start out, I'm going to end with the warrior, just kind of, watching the back, and then I'll put the mage and the healer in that order there. So there we have the musty smell. Go to that room, and it's dead end, and then I come here, and I look for an encounter card that matches the room, which is 21, and the room is full of broken furniture and ruined clothes, hence the musty smell. You may search the room if you wish. If you choose to do so, flip this card. Well, clearly I'm going to search the room, so I'll flip this over, and I find a net. You decide it may be useful and decide to take it with you. Choose one hero to take this card, and if I decide to use it for any reason, then I go with the card 26. And just for kicks, we're going to give that, I don't know, I'll randomize it. So we'll give that to the mage, and this is just down beneath. Then we flip the card over, like so, and we'll move on. So I'm going to go back to here, and I have two places to go. And so we'll go there towards the clicking sound, and I'm going to keep my marching order the same. That is room 16. And here we go, and that looks like we're going to have our first fight. As maybe you can see there, we got some monsters in there. Let's bring that down so we can see a little bit. There you go. You can see there's some monsters and big old nasty looking things in there. And let's see what happens. I'll pull up card 16, and here we have. At first, the room seems empty. If the scout is the first to enter, they'll scan the room quickly, noticing the 4 giant insects ready to drop on you. If they did lead, then combat is resolved normally. If any other hero enter the room first, then all 4 insects gain +2 to their skill for the first round of combat. And if we defeat them, we can flip that card. So, luckily for me, I led with the scout. And here we are, and we have 4 bad guys. And here we go. So, I'll place this right up here so we can see. The white dice will always be for the heroes, the black dice for the bad guys. And so, these monsters have a combat skill of 5. And my scout has 7. So basically, I'm just adding 2 to their number. So that is 9 to a 10, so the scout wins that fight by 1, thus dealing 1 damage to his foe. I could use some luck and reroll that, but I'm going to leave it as is. Then the warrior is next. Warrior has a +9, so that means they are +4 to their dice rolls here. Whoops, drop dice don't count. And I have an 8 to a 5. So that is 3, then +4 more, so that's a total of 7 damage, which is enough to, take out the warrior's foe. I made a mistake. I was looking at where my cards are in front of me, not the actual marching order. In this case, it doesn't matter too much, but I will make sure I do that right. Moving on. Next was supposed to be the mage, which has a +6, so that means it is +1 in this roll. And that is a 10 to a 7, so that's 3 damage to the mage's opponent. This is going really well so far. And then my healer has a +7, so they are +2 to their roll. and that is an 8 to a 7, so that means it's going to be 3 damage as well. Now, since it's the second round of combat, I can reorder myself however I choose. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make things a little bit easier for my weaker mage. Move that to there, like so, and now the mage is going to get +1 for ganging up on his opponent. And we're going to start right off here with our scout, has a +2, and that's going to be an 11 to a 10, so it's just 1 more damage, just slowly plinking away. Now we're going to have +4 to this roll right here, and that's going to be an 11, so a 15 to only an 8, and that's going to take out that one, and so no gang up ability there. And then the last one is nice +2 for the healer, and that's going to be a 13 to a 9, so that's 4 more damage. That will be enough to take out this one. Now we're going to do a full-on reboot here. I'm going to do it like that, because my scout has a nice little knife it can throw if it gets to it, and just pretty much does auto damage. So now I'm going to just, again, I'm at a +4 here. So that is the first one. I have a 7 to the bad guy's 9. And I don't, so that would mean I would take 2 damage. I don't want to take damage this early on. So I'm going to spend 1 luck, and that allows me to reroll all of the dice. And so now I have a 9 to its 7, and so 2 damage won't be enough to kill it, but that's okay because now I'm going to use this deadly dagger here, and as long as I roll a 6 on my 2 dice, I do 2 damage to it, and if I win the combat, I'll get to use that again. So here we go. And that's a 5. Wah, wah. So this seems like a waste, but I really want to kill this thing, so I'm going to use a luck. And try again. There we go. That'll be 2 damage, which will be enough to take out that bad guy. And since we won combat, I get that back. Then we'll flip this on over, and I found a well-crafted sword. Only the warrior is trained in its use, so only they may take it. If you inflict damage with it, then you inflict 1 extra damage. Also, if you roll a 12, you automatically kill your target, even if it is immune to normal weapons. So, not a bad start. Now we'll flip that on over, and we can move on. So now I could go this way to 24, or I could go back and up. So again, let's see what we have. And so we'll continue going this way. Oh, and I didn't flip this one over. There we go. And we'll continue moving on to number 24. Oh, and my marching order. This time I'm going to put the warrior second, scout first, then the healer, then the mage. And here we have this. So, looks like we have some kind of chalice in this room. And I'm going to go ahead and draw this, card 24, and we'll see what we have. There is a chalice on the table. It contains a clear liquid. Does any hero wish to drink it? Yeah. Then I get to pick what hero is going to do it. Now, when I first played, I had to decide, and it seemed to me that either the healer would drink it, because it can protect against poisons, or the mage would drink it because of magic stuff. And when I played before, I had the mage drink it, so this time I will have the healer drink it. Flip it over. If the healer drinks the liquid, they immediately recognize it as holy water. They stop drinking and pour the contents into an empty bottle. If the healer chooses to use the water, then find card 29. And then if any other hero drinks it, they just feel better. So we'll hold on to this, and at some point, we can use that holy water. Then we'll flip over, and we'll keep going. Now, I know that coming up from here, there's a flapping sound, and there's a sulfur smell over here. So we kind of have our choices. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so I'm going to go back over here. We're going to go back up into that sulfur smell. I'm going to leave my marching order the same. And I'm looking for card 23. And boom. There we go. Looks like a trap to me. If the scout goes first, they'll spot the trap and disarm it. Any other hero going first will trigger the fire trap, which envelops them in searing flame, and they take 2 damage. Flip the dungeon card, you'll notice 3 dragon images on the wall. You can investigate them further if you wish by flipping the card. There we go. Now, it just occurred to me, I didn't actually give us the flavor text here on what we're actually doing, which is ridiculous to me. But first things first, I clearly want to investigate these dragon images. You scratch at the image and remove flakes of paint. You can discover nothing about them. They are what they are. And at the beginning of the game, I cannot believe I didn't do this. It told us our quest. Well, I can believe I didn't do this because I already knew what we were doing. Your quest is to retrieve the Orb of Lucis. This is kept in a chest that can only be opened by the correct positioning of 3 special coins. You need to find the coins and the chest. Beware, there's nasty creatures and traps out there. So now I have a choice. I can go up to 10 or back up and deal with the flapping sound. And I'm going to go straight up into 10 and we'll see what's there. All right. Looks like some kind of crate, some kind of box. And let's see what we have there. A chest with a key. An inscription on it reads, "Whoever can open me, owns me. If you wish to open the chest, choose a hero to make the attempt, then flip this card." Again, obviously it's a chest, I'm going to open it. But there's a key there, but this type of thing always strikes me as a rogue type of thing, or a scout, so I'm going to use a scout. And if the scout attempts to open the chest, they will succeed. Find card 31. If any other hero tries, the chest remains locked, and no further attempts to open it will have any success. So, card 31 is an invisibility cloak that only the scout can use, and I can use it at some point when I choose, though it is a one-use thing. Now I have several choices. I can go up to the digging sound. I can go back to the flapping, here or here. So I got 4 choices. So I'm going to come all the way back down. I'm going to go up to the flapping sound. And that looks like a fight. And I didn't change up my order, but in general, this is how I like to have my order. Sometimes I like to move the warrior to the back, but for now, I will leave that alone. And we have a bad guy. The first hero to enter the room will immediately be attacked by a vicious imp. The imp gains +2 skill, unless the scout is the first hero to enter the room, which it is. First time you do damage to the imp, flip this card. So the imp has a skill of 9. The scout only has a 7, so I am not in the best position here, but let's see what happens. So the imp is at +2 on its roll. So that's not good. So that's going to be a 10 to a 5. That would be 5 damage. I can't take that, so I'm going to use a luck. And now we have a 9 to an 8. That's not too bad, so I'm just going to take 1 damage on my scout. That's not the worst thing. Or, ooh, no, actually what I'm going to do, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use a card. I'm going to use Improved Reactions, which is going to add 2 to my roll. Now that I've used that, unlike the Deadly Dagger, this is done for the game, unless I let the healer rejuvenate me or something like that. So that means I do 1 damage to him. Now, I'm not clear on this rule. If everybody would then get to gang up, I think you just face off first, and then in the second round you're able to change things up. So I'm going to do this like I did before. And the second round, we're going to start with our warrior, who has a sword. But otherwise, their numbers are even up. Oh, I did damage. So I flip this over. If you hit with normal weapons, then you find they simply bounce off the imp's metallic skin. You'll need to think of another way to defeat the imp. Work out a plan and find card 32. So I have a couple choices here. I could try to use a firebolt, because that's magic, and it does say normal weapons. I could try to use holy water. I don't know that that works on an imp, but I could do that. I could use my net. Or I also have a mighty blow with the warrior, but that's something that adds regular damage. Or I could run away. Or I could keep going and hope that my warrior rolls a double 6, which will just kill it. But I'm going to go ahead and try to do the net. So that's my plan. Then I have to go to card 32. And when I use the net, I have to go to card 26, I should say. So I got my net card here, and then my 32. If you have net, you can use it to catch the imp. You are able to then secure it safely. A firebolt will also be effective, otherwise you will have to retreat. If you succeed in defeating it, then you find a small necklace if a hero wishes to wear it and flip this card. So that worked out. Now I used the net, and the net says, If I use it in regular combat, something happens. I could also use it as a rope. There's also one specific situation where it will be effective. In all other cases, discard the net after use, and I believe I'm also supposed to discard it after this use as well. But that seems rather effective to me. And then the hero is going to put on the necklace, and let's give it to the healer. As soon as the hero places his necklace around their neck, they feel a burning sensation. They remove it immediately. Unfortunately, the necklace is cursed, and the hero loses 2 luck. Bad juju for me. So I have my -2, and I'll put that on the healer. And I'm going to pull the camera back just so we can see a little bit what we have going on here. And so we can see right now, the scout is down 2 luck, the warrior's down 1 luck, the healer's down 2 luck, the mage is down nothing. We've used a net, and our scout has used one of his cards as well. But otherwise, we are doing pretty darn good. All right, so back to choices again. I now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 choices of places to go. And again, you don't actually choose this way. I'm just doing that because I literally know what's going to happen in all of these places. 5. I'm going to go all the way back up and go to 11. And this is not promising. This is another big old fight. It's got an 11 skill and 8 health. But let's see if I have any choices here as I'm dealing with it. A mighty warrior guards a jar of something. If you defeat the warrior, you may investigate the jar by flipping the card. All right. Well, let's see how we do. All right, so now this is a bit of a harder fight. So I have to think and be careful with what I choose. Now, right now, I'm down by 4 to this warrior with my scout. Now, I could use my invisibility cloak, but if I use it, I lose it. So that's a hard choice, but I have no damage. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to deal with this first round of combat, then adjust, and hopefully with my warrior, putting my warrior further back, I'll be able to manage this, but we shall see. All right, so here we go. Right now I am -4 on this. So that is an 8 to an 8, so that'd be 4 damage that I would just take straight up. But I could, and I will, I'm going to use this protection spell that the mage has, which will block all damage that the scout's receiving there. Then we'll move to a new round, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually put the warrior all the way at the bottom, put the scout right there, the healer up front. So the healer's about to get wailed on, but I think that's going to be okay. So now the healer is at a -4. And again, I know that's happening, and I'm okay with that. Ooh, look at that. That's an 11 for me, a 5 for it. So I actually did 2 damage to it with the healer. I put the healer up to be a sacrificial lamb there, and she proved me wrong. Now, for my scout, I'm going to use the deadly dagger, because I'll be able to get it back if we win. And that's going to be a hit for 2 more damage, which gets it to 3 out of. Then we're off to the mage, and I think I could use a firebolt. That wouldn't be a bad. I have 2 firebolts. Do I want to risk being nailed? No, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna use my firebolt, which I can use this card in combat, and I simply am going to inflict 3 damage, and I don't have to roll the dice at all. And now I have it almost taken down. It's now got 7 damage, and we're coming up to the warrior. And the warrior has a 12 to its 11, so the warrior is actually going to get +1 on its roll. And all I have to do is tie it, because I have +1 damage from my sword. Wow, snake eyes. That is ridiculous. Not doing that. So let's use luck, and let's do a reroll on that. And oh my gosh, all right, I'm going to use another luck. I just need to do 1 damage here. So the warrior's now used 3 luck. There we go. So now it's 9, 10 to its 11. So instead of burning another luck, I'm going to burn improved reactions, add +2, and that will take it down this bad guy here. First thing I will do is flip that on over. There we go. I had to kind of reset my board there. I got it all moved around a little bit, but there we have it. Then we flip this one over, and we have a healing potion. So inside the jug is a healing potion that can heal somebody by 3. And so I'm just going to go ahead and just give that to the warrior to carry. All right. So we found no coins, nor have we found a chest. Great. But I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different places I could go again. Of course, I rolled a 6, 5. I think I counted from here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I know there's no logic behind how I counted that, but whatever. So here we go. Go all the way back around. It looks like we got a frog dude and a chest. Doink. A rather timid-looking frogling is guarding a small chest. If you want to attack the frogling, flip this card. If you want to talk to it, then find card 28. Huh. Oops, I didn't pick my order, so I'll just go back to what I was before. I don't know. Let's talk to it. So that was card 28. As soon as you open your mouth to talk to the creature, it drops its spear and runs off, never to be seen again. Well, that was easy. If you wish to open the chest, then flip this card. Of course I want to open the chest. And we have a yellow coin. So we have our first coin, which I'm just going to put up here. All right, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 choices of places to go. 1. So right here to room 18 is where I'm going. Now, as you can imagine, I'm not going to keep this going too much longer because you can start to figure out kind of how this works. But we will go a bit longer for sure. And so now I've come into another fight. This looks like a gigantic scorpion or something like that. And here we are. There's a giant scorpion in the room. You must fight it for at least 1 round. So I could run away after 1 round. As it has 2 claws and a stinger, it can fight 3 heroes at the same time, so only the 4th hero to attack will gain a +1. If the scorpion rolls a 12, it immediately kills the hero. Holy smoke. You can use luck to reroll that. If you kill it, you can search the room by flipping this card. Okay, well, it just got serious. So I'm going to put 3 of these out to remember that these 3 are engaged, and I'll be able to move around with the healer. I think, well, first things first, we have to do our attack, and our scout here is at a -1. Ooh, that's bad. All right, using the luck. That's a really bad roll. That is much better, so I have a 7 to its 5. So that is 2 damage to it. Then my warrior has a +1, and again, +1 damage. Ooh, wow, another bad one. All right, use another luck. I'm just burning through all this luck. Okay, again, that's another failure. And every time I play, the warrior just can't hit the broadside of a barn. So I'm now down to only 2 luck left. Here we go. We're going to try to take this thing out. And then I have a 7. I have an 8 to its 6. That's 3. And then I think I'm going to use my Mighty Blow and make that 6 damage. So 7 damage because I also have the sword. So that's a total of 8, which will take it out. And if, as you can see, you flip the card over and it kind of shows you the aftermath of the fight. I'm going to stay in that order, and we flip over, and we find nothing of value, just wasted a bunch of my resources. So I'm not going to go too much further. Now, mostly because I don't want to spoil all of it, and this is already about maybe a third of the dungeon or so. So I'm just going to do 2 more rooms, and then we'll stop there. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 places I can go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2. So we're going to go to this one right here, because that's the same. And that's going to be room 13. Ooh, that looks good. So it's interesting. Had I come through this way, it would have told me there was a loud clacking in there. But that looks like some treasure chests. So that is number 13. There are 3 boxes in a line. If you wish, you may choose to open one. You can only open one at a time, so choose a hero and let them choose a box to open it, either the right-hand one, the middle one, or the left-hand one. And then flip the card. Obviously, I'm going to use the scout to open that. And I'm going to use a D3. Left is 1, 2, middle is 4, 5, or 3, 4, 5, 6 is right. 1, 2, so I'm opening the one on the left. If you choose the right-hand box, then you find a gold ring. If you choose any other box, all 3 boxes crumble to dust. Does any hero wish to try the ring on? If so, go to card 33, but of course, there is no ring, because the box crumbled away and I get nothing. Alright. Now I have 1, 2, 3. I have 3 places I can go, and this will be, I think, if there's a fight, this will be the last room. 2, so I'm going right here, and that works well because we're getting to the end of my camera space. That is room number 9. And it's going to be, it looks like a fight. As you can see, right there, those things have 7 health and 7 defense. 2 giant cockroaches. If you defeat them, you may search the room by flipping this card. Gross. Gross, 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 gross. So they're 7 and 7. And as always, so my scout is going to have nothing to worry about. Well, lots to worry about, but is even up. And I'll probably start burning some stuff here because it's fun. Oh, now this is fun, and I almost forgot about it. So I'm going to use courage. And courage says, play this. This is something that the healer has. Play this before dice are rolled in combat. Choose another hero. They gain +2 for the entire combat situation. You cannot play this on yourself, so I'm going to play this on the warrior to give the warrior even more of a bonus. So here we go. Even up for the scout. And that is a 7 for the scout, a 6 for the bad guy. That is 1 damage. I will take it. Now my warrior is going to be +4 on this roll. And that's going to be a 7 to an 8, so I did 3 damage, 4 damage because of the sword. And that's not bad, I'll take that, 4 damage. Then we're moving into the next round of combat. I'm going to mix things up a bit. I'm going to do this, and I will put the healer there, and I think I will do, actually I think I'm going to do that. That's what I'm going to do right there. And so my plan is going to be I'm going to use the firebolt to kind of take this one out. I got one more thing I get to do. I'm also going to use staff block. So I can use my staff to engage 2 opponents, so I get to engage both of them, and they both wind up in the same column with me, like so, which allows me to put him there. I get +1 on my skill, but I can't actually do any damage. Excuse me, I get +2 on my skill, but I don't get to actually do any damage. So I'm just trying to block both of them here. And it also says that they do not get that +1. So first we have the healer is a 9 to a 7. So I get +2, I have an 8, they have a 10, we are equal, so that worked out for me. Now I'm going to use my deadly dagger. I just got to get a 6 here. And I did, so I'm going to do 2 damage to the one right here. Then we are off to the warrior, who is going to now have an 11 to their 7, so he's +4. +5, 6 because of courage, so +6, going to try to kill the one right in the front. And that's going to be a 10, 16 to 7, so that's plenty to just spatter that cockroach. Then this one comes down, and then I'm going to use the firebolt to pop it for 3 more damage, which takes that one out. And that is how you do that. Then I will just go ahead and flip this on over, and we'll search this room. And I found a rope which I would give to somebody, and this is where I'm going to stop. There is a fair amount more, but this should give you a good idea of how this goes. This is a tutorial. There are some puzzles you have to do, as you saw. Sometimes you're guessing things. There are clues throughout this to kind of help you solve the end puzzle of the game, which, as you know, has to do with that treasure chest, which you have to find. But all in all, that's how this works. So, as always, if you're interested in my thoughts on this game, you can check out my preview video. It's linked in the description. You can also find a link to this campaign when you will be able to get your own copy of this if you are interested. As always, if you found this video useful, please like, subscribe, share, maybe become a channel member. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.